Simon, a good second half showing from the boys on Sunday to get the points and put on a score in the end over at Swinton. When you look back at that game, are you pleased with the way that the boys got the job done in the end?
Yeah, for the most part. Hot conditions. Obviously, OB making his debut, like a new face in there. Yeah, I think you pull it all together in the context of the game to come out with relatively unscathed injury-wise. Yeah, really happy, and obviously second halves have not been our forte in the last few weeks, so it was nice to put on some points, but I thought the first half was pretty dominant as well, to be honest. And credit to Swinton, they're a better team than I think they get credit for. They obviously picked off a couple of wins, so we knew it was going to be a tough game. But I just thought we obviously heard me moan all week about getting the plan done. I thought we started in planning and we did all right from it. It was only through our own indiscipline and an odd couple of poorly timed choices around offloading the ball that prevented us from turning the screw, I think, before half time and putting a bit of separation between us. So yeah, we went in at half time, all really positive, to be fair, and we started in good fashion. I think we scored the first set, which then opened the door really. So yeah, happy with it. There's some good tries in amongst as well, and some line breaks from the people we're not so used to seeing go through. On line breaks, Adam Tangata, Kyle Wood goes through, and obviously Cal finished off a break there, which was good to see. But yeah, across the board, workload was spread pretty well. Everyone had a good stint of it, so yeah, pretty happy with it. Hopefully, it gives us a little bit of confidence that we can back up a decent half of rugby with another decent half as well.
We went through a little bit there as well. Obviously, Zach McComb being sin-binned, Dan Fleming towards the end, so maybe not affecting the result because the game was probably gone. But at that point, being a score ahead to go down to 12 men showed some resilience to really stick to the task and like I said, keep saying get the job done.
Yeah, and we didn't help ourselves either. When you get a man off when you're in the sin bin, territory and discipline really important to make sure you try and stay away from your line. It's obviously easier to defend further up the pitch because you've got a bit of room behind you. The closer you get, you're on the cliff edge, aren't you? So you need to be good. But I think we just didn't help ourselves again with a few penalties and a couple of offload attempts when, again, they know full well what they need to be doing in that period. We just got that wrong, some lapses in concentration, but obviously we were able to come through, so it's pleasing. I thought it was harsh, to be quite honest. I understand it, but I also think it was harsh, and that's obviously my view on the ban for Zach as well. And then Flem on at the end, I thought that was really harsh as well. It looked quite spectacular, but when you see it on video, I'm not sure he makes contact with his head. I mean, the MRP haven't had a look at it. I think he's a big man, Dan, so when he's hit him and he's spun, he's come down at a speed and it looked quite extravagant, let's say. So went with the yellow on that. So they're frustrating at times. I don't want to get myself in trouble, but look, it is what it is. We got through without him, so we'll move on and leave that there before I say something I shouldn't.
We got back to winning ways, a bit of a confidence boost there for the lads, managing to open up a bit and put some daylight between the two sides when maybe we've had some close games and narrowly missed out. So have you noticed the camp sort of raised in mood or anything like that during the week?
Well, we've only been able to see each other once so far, and that was a steady night, to be fair, after a really hot weekend, and everyone's feet are in tatters from the hard surface, so we didn't do too much Tuesday. But listen, they come and they turn up every week, these lads, and they do try hard every week, and I know it's not much comfort to fans when the results don't go your way, but apart from Fev and Widnes, where we deserve to be beaten resoundingly, I suppose, other than that, we've been in every game, haven't we, and we've lost by 4 points, 8 points. We know we're not getting blown away by anyone, and that's a frustrating thing because we're not playing at our potential. But their effort's been really consistent, and our prep's been really consistent. So that's where my confidence comes that hopefully we're going to start turning the corner, and hopefully there's some signs there this weekend in terms of how we played the game that were really positive. So yeah, well, look, we just have to keep working at it, and I've said it many a time before, the harder you work, the luckier you get. So I think we're due some luck.
You mentioned there we seem to have come through unscathed on injuries. Is there any updates we can give about Joe Keys? I think obviously is maybe the only one.
Keys is probably maybe 2 weeks now from surgery, so everything looking well. He's cracking on with rehab, and it's mundane and boring. So we'll all look after him and make sure he's in a good space with it, because it's a tough period. I've been there many a time and it is hard. But yeah, he's the long-term one at the minute. Other than that, we've got plenty of bits and bobs. We're at mid-season point now, and this is where the tough season starts taking its toll. Yeah, plenty of bits and bobs to check on, and obviously, as I said before in the interview, a few checks to have tonight which will determine what the team looks like at weekend. But we're not a million miles off. We're all enjoying it still, even though it's not all been perfect, but all really optimistic about what the next, 10, 12 games. Optimistic about those 12. We've got the cups to look forward to as well, so we're not in a bad spot. And really optimistic about what we can do if we start getting it right on the field as well as we're getting it right off the field.
You mentioned the boys' feet being in tatters from that field. I'm going to try and transition into another field that's maybe less than ideal at Odsal, where we go this weekend. A small field, shorter and narrower. Does that change the game plan going into a big game like this?
It's a postage stamp type field, isn't it? It's real small, but I'm not going to moan about it. It is what it is. Teams have gone there and won, teams go there and lose. It does change how you play a bit, just because the space just isn't there. You have to create more space, and that'll come down to some very basic principles of rugby league of run hard, tackle hard, and have that intent about you in everything you do. So that'll be a focus for us this week.
5 from 5 in the last 5 games, on a bit of a winning run. Does that give you a bit more motivation to want to sort of wipe the smile off their faces and bring them back down to earth with the
No,
back?
if you didn't tell me they won 5 from 5, I wouldn't know. I don't really pay too much attention to anyone else's results, but obviously take serious note of ours. So look, it's a derby game. Form does come into it, to be fair. I think we've been building and sort of stuttering, and I think Bradford are in the same boat. They just happen to have been coming out the right side of a few games. But we'll both be looking desperate, I reckon, at the weekend. It always is that sort of affair, and that small pitch lends itself to a physical encounter, so that's what we'll prepare for.
We spoke obviously yesterday when the previous interview went out about Ben Crooks joining the club. Is there any possibility that he'll go into contention for this weekend?
It'll be in the squad. Again, whether he plays or not will be determined by what Ben's like in training, what others are like in training, and how it all looks. So we've got a little bit of time to decide that, yeah.
These are the games that everyone wants to play and all the fans want to be involved in. 1-1 out of the 2 games so far this year. This one being billed as the decider between the 2 teams, derby rivals. It makes for an exciting game. You must be really looking forward to it and anticipating what could be if we can get the win over there.
Yeah, always looking forward to it. Looking forward to a good performance. That's what I'm hoping and planning for. And then hopefully, as they say, the result takes care of itself if you get the other things in order. But make no mistake, it'll be a tough game. A win would be absolutely brilliant, but that'll be after the 80. We'll worry about everything before it for now. We won't play it before it's arrived. So we'll just make sure we put a good plan together that's very simple and we can all get on board with. Prepare best we can and tip up for a tough one on Sunday.
And finally, as we usually do, we mention on the fans, they lift their game, lift their noise, lift their support for these derby games. So you must be hoping they get to Odsal in numbers and really get behind the lads for, like we said, what is going to be a ding-dong battle.
Yeah, look, we don't have to build it up too much. I think everyone has that emotional view around derby games, but what we'll say is, and I've said it before, I think our supporters have been brilliant, thick and thin. There's been a bit of the thin stuff, haven't they, this year, but they've been great at spending all the money to come over to lose. Plenty over there at Swindon, the weekend just gone, and it is really appreciated, because at times it feels like the weight of the world on the lads and that when they don't win, because they know the expectation, how much it means to people. So to have them keep turning up when I haven't been going great, it's brilliant. And we've got half a season to repay some of that, and that's what we'll be aiming for.